Good morning. This is Mother's Day. This is Mother's Day weekend, y'all. I hope you guys got some plans for the mothers of your lives. I'm looking to take my lovely mother this weekend Sunday out to dinner. She's got some food she's been craving. I'm on the hunt for it. That's what it is. I'm on the hunt for it, man. If I was in Chicago, it'd be a lot easier because there's a lot more Puerto Rican places over there than there is over here. But I'm gonna find. I promise I'm gonna find it. So, anybody ever heard of hang on, I'm trying to think here. What's it called? It's called ensalada de carrucho. Anybody ever heard ensalada de carrucho? For my Latinos out there, it's conch. You know what conch is, right? That big old seashell, right? It's got that enormous snail that's in there. It's conch. In Spanish, it's called carrucho. There's a very famous Puerto Rican salad that's made with that meat, and it's very, very hard to find, obviously, because that's a very rare animal, obviously. But that's what I'm in. That's what I'm in the hunt for. So conch fritters, right? That's right. Conch fritters is that's something else that people will do. So in Spanish, they actually make a salad out of it where they'll dice it up. I believe they boil it. I'm not 100% sure. They dice it or they fry it or something, and they add a bunch of vegetables. And it's almost like a cold salad.
Do they do it in the DR too?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe
I've
so.
had a salad like that where the guy made it on the beach.
Okay.
And he took the conch and some vegetables and cut them up with like some vinegar and some other spices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's so it's hard to find that meat. Otherwise, I'd make it at home. But I'm looking for a restaurant that can do that. So I'm hunting around. Anyways. But speaking of Dominican Republic, speaking of DR, right? Carmen just kind of slid that in there, right? We are in qualification month, guys. We are literally in qualification month, okay? So remember what the contest is, right? So you got an all-inclusive trip, okay, where we cover the hotel, the resort fee, we cover the food, all that stuff's all included, okay, for 2 people. Right? The room is good. It will be essentially covered for 2 people. So if you want to bring 4 people, there's obviously some added costs that you have to pay for those extra 2 people. But the room itself would essentially be covered. The resort fee would essentially be covered. All you can drink, all you can eat. We are in qualification months, right? So we are in May, June, and then half of July. It's literally from now on. Well, it's from May 1st until July 15th. You have to get. Let me actually. Because I like to show you guys where it is that the data is at. So you can always reference back to it with your teams and everything. So this website, guys, in the next week is probably going to go through a massive change. Just so you guys know, we're going to be upgrading it and kind of getting rid of this long menu. We're going to kind of create categories for it. But for the time being, what you would do is you go right here to contests and initiatives. And boom. Let's see here. This gives you all the criteria, right, to qualify. So these are the main ones. I'm just going to highlight the main ones. The main thing you need to focus on is how in the heck do you qualify, right? Let me see. Where in the world can I zoom? Maybe I can just do it this way. Yes, I can. Okay. So there's three ways to qualify, right? You have this month, May, all of June, and half of July to July 15th. This is issue placed businesses. So this is not, I'm gonna wait till last minute on the last day to submit a bunch of business because that won't count. It's not submitted business, it's issue placed business. So you got to be strategic about this, okay? 10 applications, 20,000 issued. We cover 50% of the room and resort, right? 20 apps, 40,000 issued. We cover room and resort for 2. That should be the bare minimum no matter what. And then 25 applications and 50,000 issued. We'll cover the room, the resort, and $400 reimbursed to you towards airfare. Okay. Here's how I would be trying to do this if I was you guys, because I've been in these issue place type contests. Okay, I would make sure a couple things. One, this month, May, is the month to turn in as much as you stinking well can. I mean, if you're targeting, it's like if you're going after 2550, if you're going after this one, I would be trying to turn in 30 apps, 60,000. That'd be my number. 30, 60, 30, 60, 30, 60. I got to get 30 applications, 60,000 issued in the system as fast as I can. That's number one. Number two, I would be making sure no matter what I'm cross-selling. So many times I see people come up short in these types of contests because they have the issue placed, but they don't have the app count. They have the issue placed. They have one freaking whale of a case that came in and it was like 20,000, boom, right? It was like that covered 50% of the goal. So you qualify with your issue placed, but you don't qualify on the app count. How do you combat that? Cross-selling, selling your clients 2, 3, 4 policies, little here, little here, little here. Guys, I promise you, it adds up. So everything I would be focused on in the month of May would be that 30 applications, 50, 60,000 issue place. I have to submit all that this month. Why? Because I want to make sure that in the month of June, I'm focusing on getting that business approved. And then in the month of July, I'm focused on getting all that business issued, right? Now, if you don't hit that number, are there other methods to do it? Yes, of course there is. I mean, let's be honest, kid policies, kid IULs, healthy people between 20 to 25 years of age, even 30 years of age, super healthy individuals, those types of policies approve in like 2 weeks, right? So you have things to fall back on. You've also got simplified issue, which is a next day approval. You also got out stuff to fall back on. However, I wouldn't be focusing in on the fallback. You're not in the season of fallback right now. You're in the season of submission. So all this month of May, it's submit. I'd have it on my board, 30 applications, 60,000 issued, cross-sell at every single stinking opportunity we can. Every opportunity you possibly stinking will can. That's what it does. That's what it is to qualify to go. You also need to know the companies that you need to be selling in order to qualify. Americo, Anaco, Allianz, Foresters, American Amicables, North American, Silac, F&G on the life side, Kansas City, and Prosperity. Those are the qualifying companies. So you want to be focusing in on those. Today for training, we're going to be talking about a couple of these. We're going to talk about Americo. We're going to talk about Anaco. We're going to talk about Foresters. We're going to talk about Kansas City, and we're going to be talking about North American. So we're going to be hitting pretty good today on training to get these types of qualifications in. All right, VPs. Just so you guys know, this is an initiative funded by your VPs. TKO is helping in this, right? TKO is covering a percentage of it. Your VPs are covering a percentage of it. But for VPs, TKO, we're offering the VPs a way to qualify as well too, where we pay for your costs. So what is that? 10 applications and 15,000 issued, personal. And then as an agency, 50 applications, 100,000 issued. That's what you need to do at a minimum. And then TKO will essentially reimburse you the cost of your resort and your hotel. Okay. Now, the big dog is 15 personal apps, 25,000 issued personal. And then as an agency, you do 75 applications, 150,000 issued. And on top of paying for your resort, TKO is also going to give you $750 towards airfare. All of these VP initiatives are reimbursements. So don't get confused with that piece as well too. I would love nothing more than to have, I'm not going to say toes in the sand. We have to come up with a different slogan, y'all. I'm telling you right now, I need somebody to come up with something creative, okay, with that piece. But we need to get something there where we can reimburse that cash, take a picture of it, do whatever we need to do. Is there going to be a business meeting? Yes, there needs to be at least one business meeting in order for this to be considered a business write-off. Okay, but no, this is not going to be one of those conference room, half a day type thing. What I'm thinking of is more like a 20-minute session on a jet ski with a drink in our hand and a laminated script of some sort. I mean, I don't think anybody would have any objection to that type of business meeting, but we need to have something in there for that piece. And then honestly, the rest of the trip, the date, so you guys know, is the 26th to the 30. Hang on, let me confirm that. I wrote it down too. Hang on, I have it here. Here it is. The 26th to the 31st are the qualification date, are the dates of it that we're attending. Currently, there's no vaccination requirement. So if you're worried about that, there's no vaccination required. However, you will need to have a travel health insurance, which is like $60 a person. And you will need to take a COVID test on your return, on your way back into the United States. The US wants to make sure that, that you're COVID free. Okay. And for those of you that haven't heard about the updates, but the airlines now are not requiring you to wear a mask. So if you don't want to wear the mask, you don't have to wear the mask any longer in the airport. If you want to wear the mask, obviously no one's going to stop you from wearing the mask. Passports, I've even included links for passports here. I would be jumping on that if you haven't already. I think, in my opinion, I think if you start right now, you might already, you might just barely catch it, right? But there is your application for your passport. There's your renewal if you need to renew it, and there's the instructions of what you need to do for it. I would definitely pay for the expedited, okay? So it comes a lot faster. It's a little bit more money, but it'll come to you a lot faster. You don't want to be the person that qualifies for this trip and then can't go because you don't have a passport. Look at Norma. Norma's like, yo, I got mine. I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay. Split business, you still get the full app count, but you are splitting the points. Okay. The target premium, you're still splitting, but you get the full app count. So let's just say hypothetically, you're working a case with Carmen and Alvin. They're your field trainers, and it's 2,000 total issue placed, split 50-50. You each get an app count. That's one full app for each of you, but the 2,000 gets split. So 1,000 will count towards Carmen and Alvin. 1,000 will count towards the trainee, and that's how you want to be able to track it. Okay. Any questions about that? Any questions? Okay. Are you able to bring people with you? You are. Are you able to extend the rooms, get bigger rooms? You are, at your cost. Okay. Now all that stuff is there. Rooms are pretty solid. Okay. Rooms are pretty solid. We're going to be getting pictures out your way. Hopefully this week, but that's the initiative that we're running right now, guys. That's 100% the initiative. I'd be 100% focused on that because it's issue place. You're coming into a trip with money in your hands. If you have never been to Dominican Republic, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need to come with too much. When I went to Dominican Republic, I typically show up with like 500 cash because everything's covered. I mean, literally all inclusive. All your liquor's covered, all your fountains drinks covered, all your food is covered. It's not like cruise food where it's like pizza and pasta. No, it's like steak and lobster. Like, it's good stuff. You know what I mean? It's really good stuff. A lot of seafood, right? I mean, think about it. They're in the Caribbean. It makes sense. Excursions, you're gonna have to pay obviously for your own excursions and stuff like that. But anyhow, that's a trip that, in my opinion, everybody needs to be targeting for like crazy. And don't sleep on it. This is the month that everybody should be double downing more than anything. You should be like 75% of your work needs to be this month so that you can really solidify this for you. And think about who you want to bring with you. You know, maybe who you want to bring with you is I don't know, a business partner you're trying to recruit. You want to show them the lifestyle, what it is working in the industry, right? You could do that. Your spouse, if that's what it is, right? Your in-laws, your kids. If you don't want to do any of that, you're like, nah, I'm just going like, think about that piece and push towards these types of contests, guys, because they're well worth it. 100% well worth it. Okay. That's that piece. Next update. May 21st is our closers college this month. May 21st is our closers college this month. Okay. Let me screen share here again real quick. Nope, that's not what I want. Nope, that's not what I want. If there's questions on the chat box, I apologize. I'm notorious for not even reading the chat box. Let me see here. A lot of welcomes, Okay, good. Everybody's good. Okay, good. All right, so you go to the website right here, Closers College. I'm already starting to build out the agenda. Guys, just so you know. So here's some of the current speakers that we have coming through. Okay, so Heartland Financial will be doing a training. If you haven't worked with Heartland Financial, that is a hospital indemnity company. We recently added Heartland Financial to business that you can count as far as issue placed. Okay, so health insurance doesn't normally count towards promotions. There's no transmittal reports you need to do. We recently added Heartland Financial into that. So if you are submitting Heartland Financial, make sure you do the TKO new business transmittal on the life side, if I'm not mistaken, and submit that so we can track that for your promotions. We can track that for this initiative, this content. Oh, actually, no, this carrier is not a part of the contest. But Heartland Financial is coming to do a training. I leverage Heartland Financial, guys, a hospital indemnity plan as the short-term access to cash plan. If you're selling living benefits, you need to understand living benefits have a 90-day waiting period before you have to actually qualify, and then another 30 days you got to wait before the check hits your hands. That's 120 days from the point of time you claim, 120 days from the time of incident before you get a check in your hands. That's a 4-month window that a lot of people in Middle America don't have savings for. Hospital indemnity says, listen, you spend one day in the hospital, we're gonna give you $3,100. You spend 2 days in the hospital, another 600, 3 days, another 600, 400, another 600, all the way to the 31st day, 600, 600, 600, 600. You add that up, it's like $20,000 in cash that you get, right? There's only a 31-day waiting period on that. So, you know, they could get the cash in their hands a lot sooner, and that cash could help pay the bills. That cash could help pay the deductible on health insurance. That cash could help them get through that 4-month waiting period of the living benefit claim if it happens to be a very big thing. It's a phenomenal product to sell, super cost effective. It's literally anywhere from $30 to $74 per person. And it's like an instant issue, next day product. I mean, it is like a killer. You do need to have a health license for that, okay? So Harlan Financial is going to be training on that. Let me see is Danny Banks on right now? Danny, by chance, are you on? Let me see. Maybe not. Okay, so I'll give him a shout out later on. But another company that you guys are going to hear about, where you're going to get a training from a gentleman named Jeff Belcher or one of his associates. Okay, they run a product called the Flex Method. You guys are going to freaking love this for my advanced salespeople. Let me see if Rich Welch is possibly on here tonight or not. I'm not sure. If you're, Welch is on. Perfect. So you've been hearing a lot of talk about infinite banking. You've been hearing a lot of talk about premium financing. Premium financing is where a bank loans you money to overfund your IUL. I mean, it's like tax-free retirement on steroids, right? You've heard about infinite banking, where you leverage whole life policies to start generating cash accumulation, but you have a fixed environment where you're going to make a 3% return or something like that return. And so, hang on one second. And so you've heard about those strategies. So we just partnered with a company that takes premium financing and uses infinite banking whole life policies to do it. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely, utterly insane what happens in that world. On top of it, the way that it's structured, right? Currently, we have a partnership with Kaizen for premium financing. The client has to make $25,000 minimum payments for 5 years. This is a strategy where the client might only need to have to do 2 years worth of contributions, and then premium financing comes in and takes over. Again, it's another method. It's another access point. Be on the lookout for that. You guys are definitely going to like it. I'm working on US Processing Solutions as well, being a part of the 521 Closers College. If you don't know who US Processing Solutions is, it is our student loan forgiveness company. Okay. Let me tell you how important this is, okay, especially in the middle American market. If you're not doing a financial needs analysis and finding out what their debts are, you don't know where their money's going 100%. You don't know if someone is making $500 to $1,000 to $1,500 a month payments into their student loans. You don't know. And what if we had a company that could take that student debt, whatever X amount of debt is, shrink it down to damn near nothing. Now the client, instead of making $1,000 or $1,500 a month payments towards that student debt, now they're only paying $200. What does that mean? You got all that extra money now to do what? Reallocate towards retirement savings, IULs, annuities, term life insurance, GULs, insurance protection. You have disposable income. And if anybody who's worked with me knows, I'm very big about doing a budget on my clients. And the reason I'm very big about doing a budget is because if I know what's discretionary, I know how many products I can offer, and I know how big I can blow those products up if I need to. And so by being able to free up money that they were already spending towards student debt, it gives me the moral authority now to say, hey, listen, let's realign it and let's shift it. And so they're looking to do a training as well too. Their talk track, just so you know, with your client, and you could sit in on that call if you insist on sitting in, no problem. But their talk track is showing them how saving them money on their student debt and repositioning it using tax-free retirement plans is a solution. So they're literally edifying what you can do for them afterwards. So they're looking to be on board as well too. And we got an entire agenda for that. That's going to run, like I said, May 21st from 9:45 Eastern time, 9:45 Eastern time. So adjust it accordingly until probably about 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. Now, so if I'm talking to my central people, it's 8:45 to 3 p.m. If I'm talking to my Pacific, it's 6:45 to 1 p.m. Okay. But it's going to be well worth it, 100% well worth it. Okay. So that's that update. And then let me give you the big one. Here's the big update before I get into training. Y'all ready to see this?
Tony, can I ask you a question first?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go for it.
So usually agent training, sometimes we can use that as a recruiting tool. Is this one of those closers college that we can
Sure.
use as a recruiting tool
As long as, hang
for
on.
select people?
Yes. As long as it's not a practice company, yes. As long as not someone from practice company, the answer to that is yes, 100%, not a problem. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. You ready for this one? Here comes, here comes, here comes, here comes. We are live, my friends. We are live with our back office video library. There's a couple modifications that I need to do. So for those of you that are like stiflers about spell check, please understand my graphics designer, my website developer lives out in Venezuela. Okay, she only speaks Spanish, but she does such a phenomenal job, and I'm so big about promoting those types of businesses. I found her when Venezuela was under attack. If you guys remember, a couple years back, Venezuela was under massive attack with their political issues and potential war and everything. And so I wanted to try to find a way to financially help a family out there. And when I found her skill sets, I decided to start using her, been using her ever since. So do me a favor and just, if you see some spelling errors, screenshot it, send it my way, because I still have to kind of scrub through that. But our video library is live. It is tkolibrary.com. tkolibrary.com. There will be a link from our TKO Financial Network that'll direct you over there. But if you're antsy and you want to go there right away, go to tkolibrary.com and register. You need to use the same email that you're using with your TKO Financial Network. Otherwise, you won't get approved. We're checking and balancing, making sure whoever we're giving access to this website is also is an active agent. And how we double check it is making sure that the email is an email that's in the system. So my recruiters, when you recruit people in, make sure that they know whatever email you put in their enrollment is the email they have to use for both the TKO Financial Network website and the TKO Library website. Otherwise, they're going to sit in pending status. They're just going to sit there because we're not going to know where that email is. We're not going to know who it is. And so it's up to you guys to make sure you give us that data. But here it is. Let me tell you that this is actually my first time looking at it from the computer, because I've been looking at this from my phone. Let me see what this bad boy looks like. Financial Network.com. I believe that's what I said, what I created. Verification. Log in. Log in. Wrong email. No, that can't be correct. There we go. All right, good. I did have it. Okay. So here's how cool it is, right? So the cover page is for solicitation purposes, right? When you're recruiting, you could show this website and be like, look, we have a back office video library where you're going to learn all kinds of different strategies. You're going to learn about things like, let's see here, types of insurances, types of retirement account, how premium financing and infinite banking works, what our premier partners offer, how to run a successful financial agency. You're going to learn about all that kind of stuff, right? This is a good solicitation tool. But when you're logged in as an agent, you can go right here to all categories. Look at these. You want to learn about IUL training? Here it is. You want to learn about advanced sales? There it is. You want to learn about Jarvis? You want to learn about tax preparers? You want to learn about credit repair builders? You want to learn about illustrations, health insurance? You want to learn about how to do an orientation, the F&A module? I mean, everything is here. This is interconnected with YouTube, but from YouTube, you cannot see these videos. So they're completely blocked off. The only way you could see them is like going through our website. And so I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up, right? Just kind of cleaning up the titles of it and what I want to have on there or not. But essentially, everything is there. Now, that doesn't mean that your recruiting videos aren't on YouTube. Those are still very much open for you to share. right? So like when you go to the playlist on our YouTube channel, the business opportunity meeting playlist, there's a lot of videos there. There's what is TKO Financial Network, which is probably the biggest one you guys share. There is there's other ones that are specific for different niches, right? So you send this to final expense agents, you send this to health insurance agents, you send this to accounts, like there's little quick videos you send to specific industries. Those are all still there. Those are all public and open. They can be used, no problem. But our internal training is here, right? So for example, let's look at a couple of them, right? You can go to, let me see here, IUL training. Let's hit join. Look how cool this is. Let's see, join. And there you go, IUL training. There's one class right there. In that playlist is one class right there. This is a fairly new one that I just created. That's why you don't see all the rest of them there. But let me go into this. Let me go into, let me see here, illustrations, underwriting. Hang on a second. Licensing and contracting, life insurance. Let's go to this one. Join. See that there's 19 steps. You know what that tells you? There's 19 videos for you to pick from. 19 videos for you to pick from. This will track your progress. It'll track, have you seen this video? How many minutes of this video have you seen? You know, it'll get, and you can also go into your like personal settings, my selection, and you can kind of create like a queue and be like, I want to watch this, I want to watch this, I want to watch this, I want to save this in my queue. And then from my mobile device as well too, just so you know, you can log into it here and watch it from your mobile device and keep track of what videos you've seen, what videos you haven't seen. You'll get notifications. You'll get notifications to your email anytime there's a new video that's dropped in. So it's almost like a classroom type situation where you can just kind of click. There's your video. Right? It's pretty cool. I mean, I really, really like the way that this bad boy was developed. How in the world do I stop? Hang on a second. Get back out. Complete. There we go. See how it's cool that you can actually look, you can check it off. It's been completed once you finish watching the video, and then go to the next and go to the next and go to the next and go to the next. Very, very cool, very proprietary, only internal to TKO. Give some love to, I'll be honest with you, give some love to Gigi, because she's the one that dropped that idea in my head. She said, listen, there's a lot of valuable stuff that's there. You know, a lot of people from the independent space keep leveraging your stuff, and yet I think you need to find a way to capitalize on that. And in the same token, it helped kill two birds with one stone, because I wanted to make sure I could protect, you know, the privacy of you guys that are, you know, that might have the same kind of, you know, contractual things that we have to all deal with for a little bit. And so this is the solution for it. So this bad boy is live. What you need to do is, you know, sometime today, you're going to go to the TKO library website and you're going to register, right? And when you register, you're going to sit in a pending box. I'm imagining in the beginning, there's going to be a bunch. So just bear with me as we scrub through and approve, Okay. But this bad boy is live and ready to go. Any questions about that? That's good. That's good. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Cool. I'm going to be leveraging this for you guys. So you guys know from a recruiting standpoint, I'm also not recruiting non-licensed guys. So to the defense of those that are recruiting non-licensed agents, you can still do the original recruiting interview, right? You know, you explain term, GUL, IUL, here's how it pays, right? You guys know how to do that. We have a recruiting interview presentation in our back office. If I'm talking to industry people, however, I'm not giving that type of presentation. Okay, when I'm talking to industry people, I'm talking comps, I'm talking promotion guidelines, but more importantly, I'm talking back office systems. I give them a tour of our back office and I show them, this is where you track your recruiting. This is where you track, this is where your scripts are. This is where leads are. This is, you know, your promotion guidelines. These are the carriers. These are the companies. Look at these independent agencies branding themselves, running their own companies. Oh, and look, we have a video library. And here's where you're going to be able to get training and support and how to do this and how to do that. I do a lot of recruiting, just doing video, just doing back office support. Sometimes what I'll do, just so you guys know, is I'll go into the Call UMS portal and I'll start running quotes in front of my recruit, showing them that quoting tool, how it can be text messages to the client. You can, you know, run 4 or 5 quotes at the same time. an industry guy wants to see resources. That's what recruits them into TKO. They want to see resources. How much of a back office are you for us? It's that kind of world, okay? Hang on one quick second. Sorry about that. I got these dog bowls, and there's these little rubber seals in the bottom so that they don't slide. But my dogs knocked the rubber seals out. So now when they're eating, all I'm hearing is the metal sliding through the floor. And I'm like, yo, my ADD's kicking in. I can't even focus. So I had to tell him he can finish his food in a little while. He's looking at me like, man, when are you gonna finish training? Anyways, all right. So we've gone through a good amount of stuff, right? We went over the incentive. We went over Closers College. I believe, I'm not 100% certain, but we might even have in Closers College one of our advanced sales agency owners from the Generational Wealth Academy, Mr. Rich and Mrs. Monique Welch. We're still working on the schedule to see if we can get that bad boy to happen. So be on the lookout for that as well too. He's started to brand himself as the Infinity Banking King, right? Kind of like that. If you guys aren't following them, follow them. I love following them on social media. They're one of my favorite couples out there. But let's get into training now, okay? And the reason why I want to talk about mortgage protection is this. If you're on Facebook, make sure you follow us. Follow TKO Financial Network. Follow the group page. And I'll tell you why. You're going to see on that one right now, we're starting to do our own internal ads. Pretty cool, right? We're no longer working with third-party vendors. We're now bringing it in-house, okay? I've got a woman who runs a 7-figure marketing company whom I've known for a long time. She actually was an agent of ours a number of years ago and got into the social space, learned that world, made 7 figures, literally made $1 million business developing ads for auto dealerships. And I asked her, I said, you know, what kind of a killing you would do if you were able to create ads in the life insurance space? She was so kind of burnt out from the life insurance world that I had to give her kind of a minute to just kind of heal, right? Forgive herself, PTSD, right? But she's agreed. And so we're beginning a campaign right now. She's putting together ads. If you go into that page and you like it, you'll probably see the ad. There's a mortgage protection lead ad that's going on. We're putting some of our own dollars in there. TKO is funding it financially to create some leads. And so right now we're really targeting the states where we're heavily concentrated with agents. So, you know, Georgia, Cali, Texas, Illinois, Florida. I'm willing to go into other spaces as well too, but I just need to make sure that there's a high volume of agents that are there. Now, currently, these are mortgage protection leads. Why mortgage protection leads? Because most people that are looking for mortgage protection leads are tech savvy, right? These are people that are between that 25 to 50 bracket. So being able to do a Zoom meeting is very, very beneficial. When you can buy leads and not have to make sure that lead is within your zip code, but at least within your state. When you do it within your state, it's a lot. Number one, it's much more cost-effective lead. Number two, it helps you expand into multiple markets. But then number three, you could just run your business virtual because that generation understands Zoom. That generation also could have rollover potential, IUL potential. There's so much more potential in mortgage protection leads than just the final expense. And so we're going to start running some of those now currently as well too. Here's a favor I need from you guys. These are going to be, you have to pay for these leads at the current moment, right? Price, I haven't figured out that yet because we're literally just running our samples now. And so we're gonna price it accordingly so that she's compensated for her work, but it's still a lot more cost effective than just buying it out in the third party space. But she has to be compensated for her work, obviously. So we're figuring that piece out. There's probably going to be a minimum of 10 order. Here's the part you're going to like. It's exclusive leads. When they come to you, they'll come to you in actual live real time, number one. And then number two, they will not be resold. You have my word and guarantee that TKO will not resell that lead in the future where you're going to have to worry about competition knocking on the door within, a month or two. Now, again, just understand the leads world. That person filled out our questionnaire. We have no control if they fill out other questionnaires from other marketing companies, but this company will not be reselling them. These are proprietary TKO leads, and we're focusing on mortgage protection because I believe that there's a lot more of an income opportunity there than just in final expense. Okay, we will be doing final expense, but right now we're just kind of tackling that piece with mortgage protection. So why do I say this? If you're in the business of saying, hey, I want to buy some of these leads, I want to get in on some of this, okay, make sure that you message me so I can add you to a list of people that I know want to buy the leads. They're going to probably range anywhere from 25 to 30 bucks a lead because they're in real-time exclusive, and we're looking to try to do a minimum of 10. If you go to the third-party world, you're typically ordering minimum of 20, 25, and they're charging you about $35 to $40 for mortgage protection leads, right? If you're buying final expense leads, they're a little bit cheaper. They're like 28 to 30 bucks, but mortgage protection are expensive. They're 35 to 40 bucks, and you're ordering a minimum of 20 to 25. I'm trying to keep it so that, you know, she can still generate an income for doing the work that she's doing. But obviously it's more cost effective for you guys. So we're looking at probably somewhere around 30 bucks a lead so she can get compensated, minimum 10 order. So it works within the budgets. Okay. So be on the lookout for that, because we just started running them. And so we are seeing some leads kind of coming in, but she's still tweaking around. I don't know that world. Like, I don't know marketing. I'm just telling you what she's telling me. Like, she's still tweaking around a little bit of the parameters and what she created within Facebook and so on and so forth. So I'm excited for that to kick off. With that, let's talk about mortgage protection, right? Let's talk about that in training, okay? What I want you guys to understand is this. Mortgage protection is nothing more than a marketing name. Just like final expense is a marketing name. Tax-free retirement, it's a marketing name. LIRPs, life insurance retirement planning, it's a marketing name. There's no actual product that is called a mortgage protection insurance plan. That doesn't exist. It's a marketing name so that the non-industry consumer can relate to what it can do, right? What exactly is mortgage protection? You ready? It's term life insurance. That's all it is. It's term life insurance, and then maybe one has a little bell and whistle here or a different bell and whistle there or whatever, but it's life insurance, traditionally term life, because most people, when they get a mortgage, they get what? A 20 or 30-year mortgage. So what do you attach to it? A 20 or 30-year term. You get it's just a marketing name. Like final expense. I want to buy a final expense insurance policy. I don't want a whole life policy. You cannot buy a final expense policy if you're anti-whole life, because final expense is a whole life policy. That's all it is. It's a small little itty bitty whole life policy. Why do they call it whole life? Because it's designed to be there your whole life. Ta-da! Holy crap, are you kidding me? That's exactly what it is. Final expense says, oh, this is going to pay for what? This is going to pay for your final expenses. This is going to pay for what? The funeral costs, the service, the cremation, the burial, the plot, whatever. It's going to pay for those final costs. But what really is the product? It's a whole life policy. It's a whole life policy. Tax-free retirement. What is a tax-free retirement plan? It is any type of permanent insurance policy that builds cash. It's not just IUL, guys, by the way. It's not. Believe it or not, whole life, variable universal life, and IULs all fall into the tax-free retirement umbrella. They do. Variable, invest the money directly into the market. Whole life gives you a return based on that one insurance company by what's called dividends. Universal life gives you an interest rate based on the cost of living adjustment indexes. And then index universal life gives you earnings based on the index funds that you're selecting. But at the end of the day, they're all a form of permanent cash value insurance, which AKA tax-free retirement plans, AKA LIRPs, life insurance retirement plans. It's a marketing name designed to attract the ears. Because what does a 60 to 70-year-old think about when they're looking for insurance? I want to make sure my final costs are covered. What is a 30 to 40-year-old who just got a mortgage when they're looking for insurance? What are they thinking? They're thinking, I want to make sure I protect my mortgage, right? So marketing companies became very smart and said, well, listen, what they all need is life insurance, but let's put a word or a phrase or marketing, verbiage that attracts the ears. right? The 70-year-old that's worried about making sure they don't leave behind that debt says, oh, final expense. Let's call it final expense insurance, right? Let's pay off the mortgage. Well, let's call it mortgage insurance. It's just a marketing name. That's all that it is. Just a marketing name. So now let's talk, now that we've got that out the way, any questions first? Any questions at all first? No, good. Okay. So now that we got that out the way, let's talk about what the marketing ad does. And then let's talk about the products that we have in our inventory to fulfill the gaps. Because we have a lot of different term products with a lot of different bells and whistles, okay? The marketing ad is there to say, hey, you know, actually, let me see if I can open it and share it with you all. Hang on a second. I probably can. I don't think I've ever logged into Facebook on my computer. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Let me see here. Oh, no, yeah, where you going? Come on, wake up. What Wi-Fi am I on? There we go. All right. Let's see if I can find it. So there's two TKO financial networks. There's a page and a group, so you all know. The group is an internal one, and then the page is the public one. No, that is the group. Yep, that's the group. Where's the page? Come on now. Trying to find the ad. Can't seem to find the ad. I see it all the time on my personal page. Can't believe I can't find it now. Let me see here, TKO Financial Network. I think Rich ran into it. Somebody else ran into it because I saw you guys liked it. Can't find
Yeah,
it.
Tony, I saw it again this morning, so
Yeah, I
she's
see it
definitely
pop-
putting it out there. It's a sponsored ad, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is 100%. Anyways, I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyways, the ad essentially it's catering to the person that just bought a house. It's catering and giving them a little bit of statistics like, hey, listen, some of the number one reasons people lose their home is because of ... right? Medical reasons come in, causes someone not to be able to work, therefore they foreclose on their house. That's what the ad is essentially, you know, attracting. It's people that want to make sure that the house is covered in the event of something medically happening, like what, you know, living benefit, right? Or death. And so that's what the ad is essentially attracting. Now, let's talk about the products that we have in place, because we got a couple of different companies that you can leverage that'll offer you solutions. Okay. We'll start with the basics, right? The basics. Couple things when you're working leads as well too. That is probably the place where you're going to be working most in the simplified space. Remember, there's no real relationship to that person. You weren't referred to that person from anybody there. So you want to try to see if you can have a full-fledged financial consultation. I'm not saying you don't. You want to try. And if they emotionally are responding the right way and you think you can get into a full-fledged, let's have a fact finder first meeting, a closing presentation, second meeting. Let me show you what IULs do. Let me show you what, you know, this does. Let me see if I can find annuity rollover money. Let me see if I can find e-commerce opportunities. If you feel that you have that connection, great, go for it. But 90% of these types are going to be very transactional sales because it was a lead. You weren't, like I said, you weren't referred into it. And you have to think in the back of your head, there's other lead companies that client might have filled out. There's other questionnaires that client might have filled out. So you don't know how many other agents are behind that person trying to make a sale. So you have to be somewhat transactional. So speed is important when you deal in the lead space. When you're dealing in the lead gen world, speed is very important. So you're going to leverage more simplified issue products than fully underwritten products, because that allows you to, you know, gather the data, submit the application, get it approved. Money is already automatically coming out of the client's pocket. When money's already coming out of the client's pocket, they're not so focused on all the other agents that are calling them, right? That other agent called, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. My name is ... I'm with Family First Life. I want to talk to you about the mortgage protection lead you requested on. Oh, I already got it covered. Thank you. Why? Because money's already come out of their bank account. So to them, it's more work to stop that, to look at this. They're just like, nah, I'm not going to entertain it anymore because they're already taking money out of my bank account. So speed is going to be very important when you're working in the leads-based world. So this training is a little bit of like unlearning of what I've always taught you. Remember, I came from the referral business. I came from the warm market business. So the warm market business, the more meetings you have, the bigger the case becomes. But guess what? In the warm market business, you're not worried about another agent calling that client. You're not worried about 3 or 4 other agents soliciting to that client. So you have that time to build the relationship and really build up that case into something big. But in the lead space, you got to think there's that client that filled out that lead under the TKO Financial Network. What's to say they didn't fill out 4 other questionnaires from 4 other marketing companies? So you always got to wonder, are there other agents that are calling behind the scenes? So by getting the client to get money out of their bank account fast, that's your gatekeeper to them saying, I don't want to talk to the other guys because I've already taken care of it. Does that make sense? All right. There's a different business tax strategy when it comes to working leads. Okay. So let's talk about the products. Now that we have that out the way, you got your basic, right? Term life. How's this going to work? Well, we're going to protect you from now. Let's just say the client's 30 to 60, right? We're going to give you, $300,000 of insurance. And guess what, Mr. Client, your mortgage, this is a 30-year window. Your mortgage is also 30 years. So as long as you make your monthly payments here, if something should happen, you're going to receive this as a death benefit and you can use it to pay off your mortgage. You use it to pay off your mortgage, right? Guess what, Mr. Client? Let me talk about some enhancements that these products have. And I want you to tell me which of these enhancements, which of these extra features would be important to you. Okay. One of them is living benefits, right? And actually, let me do it this way, because this is how I would actually present it. One of the extra features is living benefits. What does living benefits says? Rather than this just paying to you in the form of if you died, living benefits says if you get sick, like cancer, stroke, or heart attack, and you're not working and you're in the hospital taking care of that condition, if you're not working, you can't pay the mortgage, right? I mean, you need access to cash to help you make those mortgage payments, is a living benefit rider that you can have to this. So the basic is just death benefit. One extra feature we could add is living benefits. There's another feature you can add called return of premium. Return of premium says, listen, on the 20th year, the 25th year, or the 30th year, whichever one you pick, okay, you can get a full refund of all of the money you've ever paid into this plan. Mr. Client, you have a 30-year mortgage? Awesome. What if I could show you a way to pay off that mortgage in 20 to 25 years instead? Well, what do you mean? Well, if you pick up a 20-year plan with us, right? When you get that full refund back, I mean, let's just say you're paying $200 a month, right? And you do the math, right? 200, oh, sorry, my thing moved, there we go. So $200 a month times 12 months is $2,400 a year. 20 years of payments, that's $48,000 that we write you a check back here. If the remaining balance on your mortgage is $48,000 or less, guess what you can do? You can get all this money back and pay off your mortgage, right? So this is another feature that you have. It's called return of premium, right? We have another feature called an unemployment rider, which means if you become unemployed for any reason, it doesn't have to be medical. You just became unemployed and you're unemployed for at least 6 months or more, the premium payments, the monthly payments that you're supposed to pay here are waived. You don't have to pay them. You don't have to pay that at all. That's another feature that we could add. Now, there's another one as well too we can add called the continuation feature. What's continuation? Continuation means this. You have $300,000 of insurance for 30 years. After the 30-year period expires, traditionally, you have no more insurance. With continuation, what we'll do is we'll take 10% of this 300,000, which is what, 30,000. And as long as you're still making this monthly payment, you're gonna have this 30,000 for the rest of your life. And that can help cover your final costs, like your cremation, your burial, and all that other stuff. At least that way, you don't feel like, man, I just put money in and I lost it, right? It's like use it or lose it. No, this one is use it and continue it, right? That's another feature that you can have on this. Now, there's a fifth feature you can have to this. Right? The fifth feature is called cash value accumulation. Right? That V looks more like an R. Sorry. Some people ask why I use technology so much, because my handwriting is horrible. Horrible. Oh my God, it's brutal. What's cash value accumulation? Cash value accumulation means the money you're paying into this is going to sit in an investment account and earn interest. And what's going to happen is you're going to eventually earn more money than what you put into it. So the beginning, 10, 20, 30 years of this policy, although it's there to protect your house and replace you and pay off your mortgage, it eventually becomes an asset because you've made more money than what you put in. So imagine 30 years pass, and guess what? You now have paid off your house. Your house is a full-blown asset, and the money you paid in made you 4, 5, 6% interest, and you have that now as an asset that you could tap into in retirement, right? So, Mr. Client, now that we've talked about this type of policy, and we talked about all these extra features, which of these features are you interested in adding to your basic term life insurance solution? Right? That's like a mortgage protection presentation. Now that I did the marketing sales side of it, right? Now let's talk about the product. Think about it. Term with LB. What product are we selling? Foresters?
North American.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't know you were gonna, I said North American.
Well, remember, we're dealing with mortgage protection, which means what? Leads. Leads is speed. I'm not leaning on a fully underwritten product. I'm leaning on a simplified issued quick approval product because I'm worried there's 4 other agents that are calling, 4 other agents that are knocking on that person's door that could potentially sell them faster than I sell them. And I promise you, whichever person gets the bank information first and that first monthly payment comes out, that's the person that they go with, because they're not going to want to undo everything they just did. Does that make sense, Roxanne?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So I'm leaning, what company am I leaning on? Term with living benefit.
Kansas City.
Kansas City's an option. Yes. What else?
Anaco.
Americo.
Americo, not Anaco.
Americo.
Anaco is an underwritten company, unless you go under 250,000. But if you want next day pay, simplify, I'm talking about instant approval, you're going Americo, right? Americo has a term life product. Foresters has a strong foundation term life product with living benefits. Matter of fact, my apologies. I just talked about these 5 features. Let's add one more feature. And I ran out of space here, so I'm going to do it here. What about the member benefits that Foresters has as a feature? Right? Mr. Klein, what if I can get you a policy that not only does this, but there's a feature called an orphan benefit that basically says if you pass away, right, and your children are left as orphans, not only does this money pay off the mortgage, but the guardian of your children are now going to receive $900 a month until they're 18 years of age. Right? What about it? Now, let me address something here. So there's been talk a little bit back and forth here. I keep getting in text messages that that benefit doesn't start until 16 years of age. That's not accurate. I contacted my internal on that. That's not accurate at all. Just whoever it is that heard that, I want to know where you heard it from, because chances are you probably were talking to an inexperienced call center sales rep from there and they give you some misinformation, or an agent said misinformation, but I contacted my internal. That's incorrect. That orphan benefit happens from the point of death until the child turns 18. The child doesn't have to be minimum 16 in order for that to pay out. So they could be 5 years old, 2 years old. And if the person becomes, if the mom and dad die and the child is an orphan, the policy death benefit will pay out. But then on top of that, whoever's the guardian of the children is going to receive, I think it's $900 a month, every month until they're 18 years of age per child. But that's a feature you can add to this, right? And what am I really creating here? I'm creating a cafeteria list, and I'm saying, hey, what do you want? That's all. I'm creating a cafeteria list. I'm like, well, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this, right? And then you're giving them the options, right? So again, term with living benefit: Foresters, Kansas City Life, Americo, boom, boom, boom. The top three, 100% I would go with. Top 300% I would go with. Okay. ROP, term with return of premium. What companies are we thinking about?
Americo, Kansas City.
That's right. Americo has the cashback option called the CBO, right? It's CBO 50, CBO 100, which means CBO 50%, CBO 100%, right? Mutual of Omaha has a return of premium rider as well into it, right? Kansas City, in my opinion, from a cashback option, is the best one. The best one out of all of them. Why? If you buy a 20-year return of premium with Comerico, you don't get the cashback option until the 20th year, right? You got to wait the full. So if you only pay into it 19 years, you don't qualify, right? It's on the 20th year. Same thing as Mutual of Omaha. Kansas City, it's a term product that acts like a permanent insurance policy because it builds cash value over the years. So you can ROP, 50% at some point in time, 60% at some point in time, 70% at some point in time. So you get more access to the money, right? You get more access to the money and have more options and more choices. Okay. You could borrow against the money and then put the money back. You can't do that with ROP. With traditional return of premium like Americo and Mutual of Omaha, if you exercise your ROP, you're canceling the policy, give me my money, whatever it is. With Kansas City, right? You can say, hey, listen, I need not a return of premium. I just need to borrow against it, because I got this little short-term problem I got to fix, and then I can put that money right back afterwards. Pretty cool, right? But that's what I would do for ROP. Unemployment rider, what company? Look at Gigi. He's like, wait, what?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Gigi, I don't know if you were in the last training that we did. Kansas City has an unemployment rider in their cashback option. Simplified issue cashback option. That's the one you need to do. Simplified issue cashback option, where if the person becomes unemployed for 6 months or more, the premium payments are paid for just because of unemployment, not a disability, just because of unemployment. That's sick. I don't know a single company in the market space that has that. That's what I'm talking about. Continuation. What company are we talking about?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. There's another one I'm looking at.
Repeat the question.
American National.
Americo. Americo has a product that's actually called continuation. It's a 30-year term. Once that 30-year period expires, 10% of the face value turns into final expense. And then it'll last for the rest of their life. So literally, if the client was paying $200 a month or $100 a month for this $300,000 term, when it expires, if they keep making that monthly payment, they'll have 10% of that, which is $30,000, remain for the rest of their life as a final expense product, right? Now, Kansas City has something similar, which in my opinion is better, because Americo requires the client to keep making those payments. They got to keep making those payments in order for that $30,000 to last and continue for the rest of their life, right? Whereas Kansas City, right, they're simplified express. It's only the simplified issued express term. It's only that product, right? Once that term period expires, they have options. What's one of the options? Because they've been building cash value in the plan, because they've been building cash value in that plan. Again, it's a simplified issued term with cashback. Because they've been building cash value, when they get to the 30th year, they have options. One option, get a full refund of all your money back. That's ROP. Second option, give them the money. Here, take the money How much paid up insurance will you give me that will last me for the rest of my life? Then I never got to pay you again. Right? So instead of me taking the money with me, return a premium, here, you take the money, Mr. Insurance Company. How much paid up, fully paid, never again do I have to make a payment, guaranteed till I'm 120 years of age of insurance, will you give me? And if you, like let's say you signed up for 300,000, maybe they only give you a paid up of 150 or 110,000, but it's fully paid for the rest of your life. You never got to pay another payment. That's an asset that's there forever. There's no more monthly payments you got to make. My opinion, that's way better than even the continuation plan. Or the third option is, listen, that ROP, that money that's in there, instead of me taking it, I'm going to give it to you. But you know what? I don't want a paid up policy where my policy is going to go from 300,000 to 110. What I want to know is how much longer can you stretch that 300,000 that I originally signed up for? And then the insurance company says, well, listen, this will give you, we can stretch out this 300,000 for another 15 more years. So instead of it being a 30-year term, it'll be a 45-year term. But guess what? You only have to pay for it for the first 30 years because you built up that cash, and that cash is just being used to stretch it out another 10 or 15 more years. Kansas City, in my opinion, is sick with it when it comes to all these features. Sick with it when it comes to all these features. Does that make sense? Now, Orphan, we know which company, right? That's Foresters. By the way, Foresters also has a legal department that'll put together wills and trusts. That's a feature you can add here. Do you want, the ability to put together a will and a trust and this and in that? Great. I have a company that can do that, right? Cash value accumulation. What product are we going on? What product?
Allianz.
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 Simplified
IUL.
issue. Simplified issue.
Oh, my bad.
Remember, you're taking leads. Again, this is a little bit of unlearning here.
Kansas City.
Americo.
Kansas
America.
City.
ACL.
I heard Kansas City. That's one option. I'm looking for a second one.
Americo.
No,
North American.
no. You ready?
Yeah.
Mutual of Omaha has an IUL Express. IUL Express. I would definitely be leveraging that. And let me tell you why. Kansas City for cash value accumulation. We know that their return of premium simplified term builds cash. Perfect. You can borrow against it just like you would a permanent policy. Even though it's a term, it has this permanent policy type chassis environment. It makes you feel like it's a permanent policy. But Mutual of Omaha is the only IUL Express. That's okay. Mutual of Omaha is the only company I've ever seen that has a same day approval IUL. I mean, literally, and it's not bad. I think it's 250,000 max. And it has a return of premium rider automatically embedded into the IUL. So when you're doing your IUL presentation, right? Here's the two buckets, whichever presentation you're doing, right? Here's the two buckets. Money goes towards cash value, cost of insurance, indexing, here's how indexing works, all that stuff. I think it has a 10.5% ceiling on the index. It's pretty good. Mutual of Omaha has a good name as a company. It has living benefits. But in addition to all of that, you could say, hey, listen, if the index doesn't perform, let's say the index don't do well, you're going to get a guaranteed return of premium option where you can get 100% of your money back. Guaranteed. That's a rapid approval product. IUL with ROP. It's called the Express. Actually, Gigi's put it IUL-E, IUL Express with Mutual of Omaha. I think it's 250,000 max, but that's definitely what I would be talking about there. Now, again, this training, if you notice, a lot of you guys are talking about companies that I'm always talking about, North American, Allianz, Anaco, right? Remember, this is a different type of practice you're running when you're running leads-based business. When you're running a fully underwritten business, a referral business, North American, Allianz, Anaco, NLG, like, yes, right? Because let's talk of pros and cons, right? And again, it's just me. I just like to keep it real, If the client pays $200 a month for any of these products, chances are if they were willing to be fully underwritten, they would get twice the amount of insurance coverage if they were willing to get fully underwritten. But you have to also understand your market. When you're dealing in a leads-based business, just pretend that behind your phone call are 4 other insurance agents that are dying to push a product that'll approve same day. And the middle American market is not a patient market. The middle American market is a instant gratification market. The middle American market are busy. They always have a laundry list of things to do. A big reason why people don't have life insurance, well, you know what they tell me? I haven't had the time. So when someone can say to them on the phone, hey, listen, Mr. Client, I know you don't have the time. I could get you approved today, right now, instantly. A lot of people are tempted to just go that path. You know why? Because they just want to get it off their list. They got to get it off their checklist. They just want to get it off their checklist, right? That's why I say to you, there is a level of emotional intelligence. Every time I get into a leads-based sale, I want to measure them out and see, you know, if they're really responding to me and if there's other opportunities, because if I feel like I can take this to a fully underwritten world where I can open up big IULs, you know, 500, 600, 700 bucks a month IULs, I can find rollover money, I can get referrals. It's still a gamble. I'm still rolling the dice because I have to say to myself, I know there might be 3 or 4 other agents that are going to call this person up. I mean, what are the chances of that client only filling out the TKO Financial Network lead form? It's highly unlikely. Chances are they're going to fill out 3 or 4 or 5 of them. So they're going to get calls from other people. You're at a race. You're racing. You're in competition. You got to get there first. And the best way to stop your client from engaging with anybody else is making sure that first payment already came out. Now, if you have this book of business, right? If you're good with this and you sell the client one of these products, which again, don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing the product. I'm not saying that there isn't a place for the product. There is value for the product. One of the things you're going to always hear about me is that I want to have all the tools in my tool belt. I want fully underwritten and I want simplified because I need to be able to bring to the table based on the situation. In a leads-based business, you're not thinking fully underwritten. You're thinking simplified, quick turnaround because of the situation, because of the parameters. You have to think that way. You have to think that way. Now, when you've added them to your book of business, bam, what's the one thing you can do every single year with that client?
Policy review.
Policy review.
Policy review.
If the client gives you a policy review, that means that they've been with you for at least a year already with the simplified product you sold them. That means that they trusted you enough to be with you for a year. That means that they said no to all the other insurance agents that are calling. That second meeting, I am going to take my time. That second meeting, I am going to do a full thorough analysis. I am going to do a budget. I am. And guess what I'm going to tell the person? Mr. Client, what if I could give you an upgrade? What if for the same dollar amount that you're already spending on your policy, I could double or triple your coverage because there's a company that we recently brought on board our platform that as long as you're willing to get a medical exam done, I could probably get you 3 times the amount of coverage or twice the amount of coverage. Would that be of entertainment? Would that be of interest to you? Well, Tony, heck yeah. I already bought you. I already signed on to you. You can do that for, yes. And now what do? Now you're doing a replacement, right? But a suitable replacement. And you're not worried about 3 or 4 agents behind the scenes trying to take your business. That's your client. That's already your book of business. I promise you, they're with you for a year. They're willing to sit with you for an annual review. There's a sense of loyalty they have to you already. Now you just got to build upon it and build upon it and build upon it and build upon it. Now, let me talk about that for a minute too, because that's important. Do not replace the policy until 13 months after the policy has been enforced if you don't want to charge back. Policies need to be enforced for at least 13 months generically across the board. I'm saying this, 99% of insurance companies operate this way. There might be that one company that has an 18-month or a 24-month, but 99% of them are 13 months. The policy needs to be paid for so that there's not a chargeback if you replace the business, number one. Number two, because you're doing a replacement of your own business, remember you were the original writing agent, you're the new one, you better include a cover letter explaining why. I'm replacing it because of dot, 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 and dot, 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 and here's my suitable reason why, and you file that in your CYA folder. Anybody know what a CYA folder is?
Cover your ass.
Cover your sweet ass.
That's the cover your sweet ass folder. That's the I'm protecting myself folder. That's exactly what it is. And then lastly, you do not tell the client to cancel the first policy until the second policy is approved. You're not going to tell them to jump ship over here without knowing that there's a ship they can jump onto. So you got to get this approved and then you do the replacement. Okay. But for the initial, notice this training is, I'm talking to this is a very different dynamic of training here. Okay. This is this is speed. This is simplicity. That's the market that you're in now. This is not the, let's schedule a second meeting so I can case design, run some illustration. No, that's not that. If you get into a meeting with a lead, you better bring with you your computer and be ready to run quotes. You're leaving with an application. You are not, oh, I just gathered the facts. We're going to meet next day. Let me put some numbers together. Let me do a prep. No, you've seen me. I'm all about that. I am all about that world, because the more meetings I have with the client, the bigger it becomes. But I'm also understanding that I'm working referrals and I have the time to invest without worry of competition coming in and taking my client. When I'm dealing with a lead, I'm worried about competition. So I'm coming in quick, right? I'm coming in, I'm coming in quick. I'm trying to close first meeting, boom. Let me see. Rich just asked, would there ever be a situation where you would bring up the option to submit fully underwritten policy if the opportunity presents itself? Yes. So that's why I say to you, this is a level of like, you have to read the person. You got to be able to have a high sense of emotional intelligence and read the person to see what their level of interest is in that. Because again, it's a gamble. You're rolling the dice. You're saying, I'm gonna create a world where it could take 2-3 weeks of underwriting, knowing that there's other insurance agents trying to call. Do I feel like that person will be, number one, loyal enough to me, and number two, interested enough in the savings to go fully underwritten, knowing that there's 3 or 4 other people behind the scenes that are going to be barking at that client. I can get you approved today. I can get you approved today. I can get you approved today. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble, but I'm not going to lie. If my emotions tell me that there's a chance, I'm going to try to go in. But in the same token, you know, out of all the leads-based meetings I've ever had, like, let's just say this, out of every 20, one of them I feel like that. Out of every 20 leads-based meetings that I have, one of them I feel like that. The other 19, I'm transacting in and out, in and out. Now, what can you do to build rapport afterwards? Because all I really want is the first payment to come out. First payment to come out. That's all I really want. Once that first payment comes out, most people don't want to have to backtrack just because another agent is, you know, prettier, younger, or offering something that's $5 cheaper. They just like, look, I got it done. It's off my checklist. Like, I just want to move on. That's how they feel about it. Now, once I've gotten that first payment, my delivery is very different. Right? That in my opinion is a big mistake that simplified issued agents don't do, is that they don't solidify their relationships. When I deliver the policy, I don't care if the policy got mailed or what, but I'm scheduling a delivery meeting with that client. You know what I'm bringing with me? A Kaizen soulmate packet. I'm giving them a complimentary will, power of attorney documentation. I'm giving them that. I'm going to try to see if I could fill it out with them, because if I could fill out their asset sheets, guess what I could find? Is there 401k opportunity? Is there rollover money? Is there other opportunities there? You know, are there other maybe existing insurances for life settlement that I can look into? Right? Is that an opportunity as well too? Am I able to get some referrals from the list of beneficiaries and contingent beneficiaries that they're going to fill out in that TKO Kaizen soulmate packet? The Kaizen soulmate packet is a twofold. It's supposed to help the client, but it's also supposed to help you, the agent, because they're literally just going to divulge all of their data in that form. That's what they're going to do. And if you don't know what the Kaizen soulmate packet is, I need you to reach out to your upline VP and ask them what it is. I have videos on it in their video library. Hey, video library. Hey, right? I got videos on the Kaizen soulmate packet there. You know, people across the company know what it is. It's a proprietary product that I created. It's legal trust, wills, power of attorney documentation, but it also has a section there for an asset sheet and a balance sheet. Do yourself a favor. Don't be this agent. I'm coming to deliver your policy. Here's your policy. Here's your Kaizen Soulmate packet. Give me a call if you have any questions. You're done. You just wasted it. You just lost it if you're that guy. No, you're coming in and you're like, listen, I want to block off about an hour to go through this with you to make sure that you're prepared. You know, I want to provide you the advice that you need. Let's go over it. And you're going to try to fill it out with them. Because all you're trying to do is capture data, capture data, capture data, capture data, capture data. You're trying to see if there's other opportunities. Is there a rollover opportunity? Is there a referral opportunity? Is there cross-selling opportunity? Is there, you know, a student loan opportunity, an e-commerce opportunity? Like that is your hour to just build rapport and relationship with them and data consume. If you're just dropping it off, you might as well don't even give it to them to begin with. Because if you drop it off, they're not going to fill it out, number one, and you're not going to be able to capitalize and cross-sell, number two. That's just my opinion, my perspective. Any questions on that?
So Tony, I guess my question is, that means your delivery meeting is always in person, but your application and initial meeting can be via electronic, you know, over social media.
You know, when I say in person, I mean, I'll give you full disclosure. I have one face-to-face meeting a year. I run 100% virtual. And the reason I'm really liking mortgage protection leads is because the audience that you're talking to is tech savvy, right? Final expense is hard to do over Zoom. Like Bobby Jones in our organization, he's making like $250,000 a year final expense, but he does telesales. Everything is on the phone, telesales, right? Mortgage protection, you're dealing with a 30 to 50-year-old market. Guess what they know how to use? They know how to use Zoom. So that can be virtual. So when I say my second meeting with them, I don't mind if it's virtual. Honestly, I don't. I do 99% of my business virtual. And because I've created a world, right? And who's here? You guys will vouch for me if you've worked with me. If someone gets in a meeting with me and they're on the road, I reschedule. If someone gets in a meeting with me on Zoom and they're on their mobile device, I reschedule. If someone gets in a meeting with me and they're just distracted, they can't get their camera on, I reschedule. I need to create an environment where they're sitting, they got a big camera, a big tablet or a computer. They're able to take notes if they need to. That's the only way I'm going to get $500 a month, $1,000 a month in an IUL. I mean, look, is Cinnamon on? I'm not sure she is. Cinnamon, Rosa, we just closed on a case. We just closed 16,800 in Target. The husband's IUL alone is $1,000 a month. You know how that initially started? I need mortgage protection. I just got a mortgage. I got a $750,000 house. I'm the primary breadwinner. I need to make sure that the mortgage is covered in the event of, can you run me a quote for $500,000 because I already have $250,000 with Allstate. That's how that conversation started. But because he wasn't a lead, because he was a referral to Cinnamon, I was confident enough in sitting down and doing a full analysis. You think I would have gotten that guy to commit to $1,000 a month if he was driving, listening to me? You think I could have gotten him to commit on if he was on his phone watching the screen? No, I rescheduled on him twice because he wasn't in the right setting. And then guess what? The first meeting, he was in the right setting, sitting down, stationary in front of his computer. I was able to really show him high level how LERPs work. He expressed heavy interest. You know what I said to him for the second meeting? Make sure your wife is there. I need the second decision maker there if we're going to meet. Otherwise, we can't meet. So guess what the second meeting was? Husband and wife. There I presented illustrations. I presented $1,000 a month. I presented 2,000. No, I'm lying. I presented $750, $1,000, and $1,250 a month. Three, boom, boom, boom. You know what they said? Give me a couple days to think about it. You know, but I think we're leaning one route or the other. Gave them 2 days to think about it, set up another meeting. Husband and wife are both there, stationary. Matter of fact, that second meeting, when we first had that meeting scheduled, his housekeepers had just shown up. And you could tell that the wife was just kind of like looking at the camera, but like, you know, kind of doing that. So I said, I go, listen, why don't we do this? We're about to make some serious decisions here. I said, your housekeepers, how long do they take? About 2 hours. I go, why don't I call you? Why don't we get back together in 2 hours? That way you're not worried about any other thing and you can make an educated decision and honestly, you're respecting your finances and giving it the time and attention that it needs. So I pushed it. I need them focused in. Bro, I'm not coming after $50 a month. I'm coming after 1,000. I'm coming after 1,000 a month. I'm coming after 2,000 a month. I mean, ask yourselves this. If somebody wants you to make a contribution today of $1,000 a month, would you do it on a simple 20-minute phone call? Would you do it on, a Zoom meeting while you're driving and your kids are in the back and you're driving them to soccer practice? That's $1,000 commitment, bro. If I'm making $1,000 commitment, I need to know the pros, the cons. I need to talk to the people in my house that are going to get affected with that decision. Like, that's a big one. That's me. And that's the difference between someone that sells $1,200 in premium and someone that sells, bro, I'm doing an average right now per family of $7,500 in Target. That's my average right now. We just had a meeting a couple of days ago with some exclusive people that we privately invited on what it is to be a builder. And I had Leonard. I said, Leonard, I need you to add up all of these cases that we're doing that I've done in the last 60 days. And boom, 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 boom. You know what he did in the last 60 days? It was 140 something thousand of total target. 70 something thousand of it was just my split. But it wasn't like 1,000 families. You know what I'm saying? It was one family, 7 apps. Another family, 4 apps. It was term, GULs, and rollovers. It was, I mean, you can't do that on a freaking, oh, the guy's driving. Like, respect yourself as a professional and realize that they need to be stationary. You need to be stationary too. Don't you all of a sudden be the person, oh, I'm mobile today, so I'm going to do it from my phone. I'm going to do it from a Starbucks. Look, I'm here. I'm in my office. I'm ready to transact. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to go. I got 3 screens. I'm ready to go. I'm not in between stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Every now and again, I might have a meeting where I'm like in between, a drive. And so I have it, but that's seldom, y'all. Honestly, that's very, very, very seldom. I'm typically, boom, ready to go stationary. Something I take with me all the time is my iPad. If I do need to get into a meeting and for whatever reason I wasn't able to get back to my office in time, I'll pull over. I'm on my iPad. I do the blur on the back where you don't see the background. I don't want nobody seeing seatbelts and car. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody seeing that stuff. And I'm doing it from my iPad, not my phone. Monique asks, could have been more. His calculator stopped taking. Oh yeah, it could have been more. You're right. His calculator stopped taking numbers. Any questions about that, guys? Okay. This is a very different mindset when you go into leads. But just because you're trying to transact and close on that meeting, because you are, I'm not telling you you're not, you are, because you've got to combat the competition that's going to try to close right away. You got to get that first payment out of their bank account. Once you create that hurdle where they're like, man, in order to undo what I just did, I got to jump through hoops. That's what's going to push other agents away because they won't be accepting a meeting with them. Once you did that, all right, good. Now you can slow down. Now you can have a really good, what do you call it? A delivery meeting where you can build that rapport. The Kaizen Soulmate packet comes in. You can really help in that world. Annual reviews is where you can go, listen, let me talk to you about the difference between simplified and fully underwritten, which route do you want to take? Make sure you're doing it on the 13th month so you don't got to deal with chargebacks. Like, be smart about that kind of stuff. Questions? You guys have like, maybe 10 minutes where I can actually show you some Kansas City quoting systems. You guys can kind of see what that's all about. Yeah. Okay, good. Let me see if I can find Kansas City here. Life carrier. I think it's that one.
Antonio, while you pulling it up, I was thinking, is this something we can possibly add to Closers College if we can squeeze it in?
Kansas City is going to be a speaker at Closers College. Yes, sir. What time? I'm still working on that, but I'm working on getting them to be a speaker as well. They're probably going to be second half after lunch, but yes. Here's something I will tell you, right? Their product is by far, in my opinion, something that nobody in the simplified market can touch right now. Genuinely, it really is. Number one. Number two, if you want to try to qualify for this Dominican Republic trip, I would heavily be leveraging this as an option. If I'm working myself to provide you guys with leads that are going to be exclusive in real time, it's because I want you guys to genuinely qualify for this stuff. So invest into that and be like, hey, T, I want to buy, give me 10 of those real-time exclusive leads. I'm going to start working them right away as they come in, and leverage Kansas City as an option for you. It is a same day approval, next day pay company, and commissions on that are freaking high. Commissions on it are so high that, just so you know, there's other IMOs and FMOs that are complaining that I'm paying you guys above street, and they're complaining that my levels are high. And so what's one thing I want to do with Kansas City is I want to show Kansas City, listen, when TKO flexes, we could put some serious numbers on the board. I go, so you want, you know what they said to me? It says, listen, you want to silence the noise, you want to silence the haters, you want to silence the competition. The best way you can do this is by putting numbers on the board. I said, say less. I got you. Get me a wholesaler that could do a training. Get me a wholesaler that could do a training on the 21st. I'll put 50, 60 people on camera. They'll learn about your product. Let me learn a little bit more about your product and say less. Just open the doors and get ready for what's about to pop through. And so that's the move that we're in right now. Guys, understand something. We're still the little company in a big industry. And there's going to be big people that have become very intimidated with who we are. There's big people right now that are intimidated with who we are. There's big people right now trying to derail us. There's big people right now trying to send the enemy after us. There are. The best thing we can continue to do is continue to push forward and defend and defend and defend and defend and defend. You know what happens eventually? This little company turns into a big company, and then they say, holy crap, let's not play with this big company because these guys mean business. That's what this is all about. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's like a mafia at this level. At this, I mean, I'm learning stuff about this industry that I'm like, bro, I would have never guessed that people actually are that grimy in this industry. At this level, when you're running in, that's when you really start to see who, like, okay, wait a minute, you're good. Oh, you're a dirtbag. You are a fucking dirtbag. Sorry for my French. Like, damn, boy. Anyways, let me share this. Here we go. All right, so this is Kansas City when you're logged in the system. I really like their software. It really is nice, especially if you're, with the client right then and there. And when you're doing mortgage protection, you could do it virtual, right? So you go right here to the illustration. Let me see here. Illustration system and electronic application. Click it. Opens up. The product you want to, you're going to see a big list of products. The one you're focusing on is right here, Signature Term Express ROP 20, 25, or 30. Okay. So let's do a 30 year. Actually, what we'll probably be selling more of, to be honest with you, is the 25 year. If someone has a 30-year mortgage, I want to sell them on the 25 year because I want them to be able to know that they can use the return of premium to pay off the remaining 5 years of their mortgage and cut back that 30-year mortgage into a 25-year mortgage. When you can show them that you're on their corner and help them pay off their mortgage faster, that's huge. So if they got a 30-year, I'm selling you a 25. If you got a 25-year mortgage, I'm selling you a 20. That's what I'm always trying to do. But let's say we got a 25. Let's go to, let me see who's on today. Let me see, what state is thick today? What state in my—
South Carolina.
Ooh, I heard
Chi-town.
Illinois. Come on,
You know,
now.
Chi-town always come through deep.
He asked that question. He already knew.
What's right?
Hey, yo,
You're right, you're right.
Minnesota
All right,
about to
listen.
be on the map real soon.
What was that?
Put that IL in, man. Put that IL. Come on now.
All right, we got Illinois in the house. I'll do South Carolina after for whoever it is that said that. I got you. I got Illinois in the house. All right, let's say this is, look, a 35-year-old male, non-tobacco. That's pretty standard, right? You do an analysis. The most you can do is 300,000, guys, by the way, 300,000. So let's do 300,000. Come on, wake up. There we go. 300,000. Look, it automatically starts quoting. It's $212 a month, right? Now you can do quick view and you can show it from the computer. You could download it and give them a nice presentation. Let's do a quick view real quick. Look at the riders that I have automatically in there. Look, it's got all the living benefits, chronic, critical, terminal. So that checks off the living benefit option and the ROP option and the cash value option and the continuation option and the unemployment. This one product has 5 features all in one. What it doesn't have is the member benefits that Foresters has, which means what? Cross-sell $100,000 Foresters term. Just add a second little term to it for 100,000 strong foundation. I just did that with just did that with Cinnamon. That big old $16,800 case. You know what I did? I sold a big old Allianz policy. I sold a $1.7 million term with North American. And then I said, listen, none of these have this orphan benefit and you got like 8 kids. Let's just add a simple $100,000 forester's plan because you get the member benefit. That's how I sold the extra policies, by the way, just so you know. I sold on the member benefits. And literally as little as 100,000 with foresters gives you that member benefits. With final expense with foresters, as little as 10,000 gives you the member benefits. So just, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, so here's 300,000. Let's do a quick view. Here's how it works. Here's year 1. Here's what's really cool. These are guaranteed numbers that I'm showing you. This is not, you know, non-guaranteed illustrated rates. These are guaranteed. So year 1, clients 36, they pay, what is the monthly amount? $212 a month. So $212 a month is $25.49 a year. 0 cash value. Second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, Mr. Klein, you get cash value. You have $678. You know what this cash value column represents? That's your ROP column as well. That's your ROP. If you wanted to cancel, you'll get 678 back. If you wanted to borrow against, you have 678 to borrow from. Right? If you wanted to take the policy paid up, they'll give you $3,000 of insurance paid up for the rest of your life. You never got to make another payment. You get what I'm saying? So now it's like, all right, well, Mr. Klein, look, if you're paying into it for, let's say 15 years, you're now in your 50s, right? If you wanted to cancel this insurance, we're going to give you 3 options. Option 1, take $19,635 and put it in your pocket. Get a refund of that dollar amount, right? Well, if you've paid in $25.49 times 15 years, you've paid into this policy $38,000. You got 15 years of peace of mind coverage. Out of the $38,000, we're going to reimburse you $19,635 back in your pocket. That's one option. Option 2 is you can give us this $19,635, and what we'll give you in return is $62,700 of insurance that's fully paid for the rest of your life. Now it's not a if you die, it's a guarantee. As long as you don't live past 120 years of age, we will give your family $62,700 of insurance. And guess what, Mr. Client? You also have that money as a living benefit option as well. But you never have to make another payment again. It's done. It's signed, sealed, delivered. Option 2. Option 3, if you don't want to have $62,000, you still want to have the original amount of insurance, which is $300,000. Option 3 is I give you 19 years and 96 days of $300,000 of coverage out of it, because that's what this $19,635 will give you. So for the next 19 years, you don't have to make another payment, and you have $300,000 of coverage with living benefits. But after that 19th year, Mr. Client, there's no more insurance. It's gone. Mr. Client, let me ask you a question. Are options important to you? It is. You know why? Because life happens. And when life happens, you want to know you have choices. Maybe what happens to you is a short-term emergency. Your daughter ends up in the hospital because she got hit in the head with a bat from a 5-year-old. And you want to rush her to the hospital because she got a big old knot on her head. But guess what? There's a $7,000 deductible on your health insurance. Well, look, if that happened to happen here on your 15th year, you got $19,635 that you can borrow against to pay that deductible, and then put that money back if you want, so you don't interrupt your plan. Maybe on the 15th year, you paid off your mortgage and you don't want the insurance policy any longer, so you could do a full refund. At the end of the day, whatever life circumstances give you, right? You have options. You're always going to have options. And these options, Mr. Client, they start from year 5 and they'll go all the way to the 25th year, right here. 25 years. And guess what, Mr. Client, on the 25th year, we give you $63,750. If you add up all your premium payments, $25.49.88 times 25, it's $63,747, which means we give you 100% full refund back on the 25th year. Mr. Klein, have you ran an amortization schedule on your mortgage to see what the balance of your 30-year mortgage is on the 25th year? I would hazard a guess that whatever remaining amount you owe is about this $63,000. So you could take that money, options, right? Option 1, put it in my wallet, reinvest it. Option 2, pay off my 30-year mortgage 5 years early. Option 3, give me $149,000 of insurance paid for the rest of my life. I don't ever have to make another payment again. Or option 4, continue to give me $300,000 of insurance, but only give it to me for 22 more years without collecting another penny from me. And after 22 years, there's no more coverage. You know what this is if you take this path? 25 plus 22 is what? 47. That just became a 47-year level term product, but you made the payments in 25 years with living benefits. Oh my God. Find me a company that competes with that in the simplified space. Same day approval, instant issue, next day pay. Find me a company. There's all your options. Boom, 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 boom. And look, this price, look what it has. It has all the living benefits. It has the residential damage waiver of premium rider, unemployment. I don't even know what this one is, right? That's a good one now that I think about it. Residential damage waiver of premium rider. I got to freaking research that. I have a feeling if your house goes through damages, you can waive your monthly premiums on this insurance policy. I'm curious to see what the list of damages to your house is. Talk about mortgage protection focused and an unemployment rider in there. I would not be selling this product as a term product because this $200, this right here, this $200 a month number, if they hear the word term and then 212, they're going to say, man, I can get term a lot cheaper elsewhere. And they're right, but it's nowhere near the comparison. You know what I would be selling this as? I'd be selling this as a permanent policy that gives you 25 years of options. Mr. Klein, what if I could show you a permanent policy that'll give you 25 years worth of options? And let me show you what I mean by that. For $300,000 at $200 a month, this permanent policy is going to give you 25 years of coverage, a full refund of all your money on the 25th year, $149,000 of insurance that'll last you for the rest of your life. That's permanent. If you give me $300,000 for the first 25 years and then $149,000 for the rest of my life, and all I got to do is 25 years worth of payments, that's a permanent policy. And guess what? All of these options, you can start exercising them at any point in time starting year 5. Starting year 5, you can exercise any of the options. The longer you have it, the better, the bigger the numbers are. But isn't it good knowing that you have options on year 5? Think about how many people, during the pandemic, and I'll close off with this. Here we go. I'll close off with this. Think about how many people during the pandemic were working for employers for 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden they became unemployed because of the pandemic. And now they're going through a year and a half of not working. And they're canceling policies that they've paid into for 10, 15 years. And they're like, damn, that really sucks. We had to lose this policy. Because I got to decide, food on the table, electric on, or kill my life insurance. I'm not gonna lie, if I'm in that position, I'm getting rid of my life insurance. And I'm a life insurance agent. So I can't even hate on the person. Like, I got to decide between food in my kid's belly now or life insurance later. I got to take care of now. Well, with a Kansas City policy, although, right, 15 years in, there's $62,000 of paid up insurance. Although it's not the ideal situation, man, I had $300,000. It's better than canceling it all. I'd rather take $62,000 of paid up insurance, or I'd rather borrow against that money and maybe give me, some income during that unemployment period of time as a gap. Term policies don't give those options. Choices. Questions, concerns, what you got? At Sultan, did you have your hand up? No, maybe?
I'll just say, Tony, this is Kansas City is changing the game. And you and I had a discussion about this the other day. These guys are changing the game, and they have taken they have been able to put together plans where you have the choices and they fit almost every situation. And so for that, man, I just think that they're awesome. Good job, buddy.
For sure. Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, I do have a
Actually,
question
Tony-
for you, Tony.
Yes.
And this is just out of curiosity here. If you have someone who maybe has been rated or something like that previously with another company, and this being simplified issue, I'm just not sure how that works. Would they still be okay to apply for something like this?
Yeah, I would tell you, remember, just understand something. And guys, what I just showed you is the actual PDF, what prints out. Look how it prints out like a cash value plan. Look how, and it has that nice word guaranteed there, right? That's why I wouldn't solicit it as a term product. I would solicit it as a permanent policy with options from year 5 all the way to year 25. That's how I would solicit it. But Carmen, to answer your question, I don't yet have a good grasp of the underwriting of Kansas City, but with my experience, simplified issued is not for the people that are heavy medically, if they're heavy on their medical list, if their pre-existing medical condition list is big, this is not that company, because remember, simplified issue is guaranteeing that they will not do a medical, and they're going to give the client an answer within an hour to 5 days. So they're going to be a lot more particular with approvals or declines. There's also no rating. This is approve or decline. There's no intermediate rating. And so someone that has an extensive medical history probably won't get approved simplified. Now, someone that was rated will probably still be able to get approved simplified. And to be quite frank, that's probably ideal, because the price they're paying for their rated, fully underwritten product is probably the same price that they're paying for this simplified product, if that makes any sense. But I personally will tell you, I need to work with the company a little bit more to get a better understanding of their underwriting guidelines and where they're sensitive and where they're not sensitive. I think it would be wise to contact their sales department and ask them for their underwriting guideline sheet, maybe their body mass index, guideline sheets, maybe their perspective on cancer, diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, hypertension. Those are the more common things, just to kind of get a feel for them. I would ask as well too, if someone wants to take this lead, like I'm asking all the stuff, that somebody could do the homework on this. Find out if they will approve you if you've been declined from another policy recently. Like, for example, America, if you've been declined within the last 6 months, you're in automatic denial. So that'd be important to know. If you've been declined in the past, when was it declined? Do they take that into consideration? Find out what their perspective is on marijuana use, tobacco use. Just kind of, start. Don't consume yourself in, I got to know all of this stuff before I go out there and do it. But take some time, gather the info, and then get out there and go do it and fall forward 100%.
Tony and Cedric, I want to ask you, what's the targeted, what would you say is the targeted age group for Kansas City?
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I mean, I can tell you how young how old and how young they're able to go. Here, let me give you this. Let me share the screen one more time and give you guys a resource as well that I think will be beneficial for you. So TKO website, documents and resources. Going to the, what is this? Still looks good. Going to life carriers, Kansas City. Look what I already put in here. I already put the fact sheets for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lovely.
The one you're wanting to look at is the Signature Term Express, not the cashback. The cashback is a fully underwritten ROP. So if the client is adamant about a return of premium product, but doesn't want to pay the pricing that most simplified issued ROPs offer, you could do a cashback ROP, and the pricing is a lot more competitive, but you don't get all the features. You're looking at the Signature Term Express because you can add the ROP rider to it. But here's all the specs. Here's your age brackets, right? I mean, look, from the 30-year term is only accessible to people up until age 50, right? There's 2 ratings: standard non-tobacco, standard tobacco. Minimum is 50,000, maximum is 300,000. Look at underwriting guidelines, right? You can pull up the build chart. You can, again, this is going to take a little bit of, and don't take this the wrong way when I say it the way that I say it, but you're also getting paid a very high commission because you're somewhat expected to do some of this work yourself, right? Companies like Practice Company, when they pay you 30, 40, and 50 is because, they better provide me all that resources ahead of time. But when we're paying you guys high levels like that, you're expected to, be a business owner and go out and research and, ask questions and talk to the sales support and you know, poke and prod and then fall forward and try things out. Okay. Questions, questions, questions? Okay, here's how I'll close it out. Let me show you the comp on that, right? Let me close out in a nice place. So you guys could be like, damn, look at this pays. Somebody asked the question, can we write Kansas City without writing numbers? The answer is no. This is not a JIT product. This is also not a product that is with UMS. This is one of our premier carriers. So this is not a, let me call UMS, talk to John Countryman, ask him for questions on this. They don't have this product in the plat. They don't. This is the reason we get paid so high on this is because I went direct. We leveled up from one year to the next, from an FMO 1 to an FMO 2 and 3. And so it gave me the ability to get, hey, let's go something completely direct. And so I was able to get bigger numbers and I can spread that down to you guys. But look at Kansas City, Term Express. Look at the comps on this. Field managers, 100%. Right? VPs, 110. SVPs, 115. You guys want to know what the street level is on this? 80. That's why they got mad at me. Because my entry's 80. Their street comp is 80 at the other IMOs. And so they got mad that like you're trying to recruit a bunch of guys by paying them more. No, I'm trying to recruit a bunch of guys because I'm trying to take over the world. Just so happens that I pay them more. I mean, but don't get mad at me. Pay your guys more. Stop paying on me. That's literally what happened. They're like, what do you? Oh, you got 110. Just so you guys know, 110 is their GA FMO level comps that they're giving. Yeah. And I'm doing 110 at a VP level. So it's sick. I mean, it's big compensation, guys, big ones. The cashback, which is a fully written ROP, it's lower commissions. All right. But it is a fully underwritten product. It will require a medical exam. I think it's perfect for the person that wants an ROP but can't afford simplified ROP pricing. So look, this is a male 300,000, 212, right? If I did a traditional ROP, I mean a fully underwritten ROP, cashback, let's do cashback 30. Look at the price, 104, it's half the price. It's half the price. But now you can look, now you can change ratings. You can go preferred elite, standard, non, right? They could get table rated. There is going to be a medical exam. I think over 100,000, it's an automatic medical. You can go over 300,000. 300,000 is the max for simplified. This one, you can go to 600,000, right? 203. It doesn't have all the riders though. It does not have all the living benefits. So critical illness is not included in the fully underwritten product. Notice it does not have the unemployment rider. It doesn't have the, real estate disaster rider. It doesn't have all of that. And quick view. There it is. So you still have the cash value buildup. You still have the paid up option. You still have all of that. You just lost out on some of the riders. So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know of a company outside of North American, Nationwide, and Anaco that have the GUL with the return of premium rider on there. I don't know of a company that offers an underwritten ROP product. I don't. Foresters used to have an ROP product, but it was simplified. Mutual of Omaha has an ROP product, simplified. AIG has an ROP product, simplified. I don't know an ROP product that's fully underwritten. Kansas City is the first one I've ever seen. Outside of the GULs that we sell that automatically have an ROP rider, this is the only one I've ever seen that has that. So if the client is very like, I really want ROP, but man, that's expensive. If they're willing, if they're willing to do fully underwritten, then you can go this path. Questions?
Hey, Tony, this is Norma. You mentioned that you would not call this product a term product to the client. Yeah. And it is a term. What is your reasoning behind that?
Well, because this is the only product that, think about what it has. It has a paid up option. Insurance to last you guaranteed. Paid up, just so you guys know, means the policy is fully paid up. You never got to pay again. It's guaranteed for the rest of your life. Term doesn't do that. Paid up, wait, I have insurance that'll last me till 120 and I never got to make another payment. That sounds like a whole life policy. Term doesn't offer that, right? Cash value, where you could borrow against it. I could borrow from my cash value. and I could, use it for short-term necessities and then pay that money back with an interest rate, a loan provision. Term doesn't have that, but permanent insurance has that. Right? So this is a term policy with like permanent policy features. That's really what it is. So honestly, what it is, it probably is a permanent policy that gives you a 25-year out option. That's what it is. That's kind of what it is. It's a permanent policy that gives you a 25-year or a 30-year option to get out if you want to, or take things paid up.
Hey, Tony, what I was gonna say was those from the practice company, we spent a lot of time doing the let's say Anico, doing a term converting to a perm. This is almost like doing the opposite,
This is
this is perfect.
Yeah, this is a term product that automatically has some term buildup feature that has some permanent features built into it as you spend more time and put more money into it. It defeats the whole use it or lose it concept. A lot of people don't get term because they're like, man, it's use it or lose it. I get nothing for it. Well, in this one, you pay into it for 25 years and you get something for it. Either all your money back or half of the face value paid up for the rest of your life, borrowing features throughout the year, or you can extend it out for another 15 years completely paid up. Like now it's not use it or lose it. Now it's use it and what are my options? That's what it is. Use it and what are my options? Cool.
Hey, Tony, good morning. This Kamarian. What's the average time it takes if a person would take out a loan or take out the money at year 25 or something like that? Like how much time does it normally take average?
Does what take before the insurance company gives you your check?
Correct. Yes.
I would call them up and ask that question. But if I had to hazard a guess, anywhere from 2 to 5 business days.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, no, no, and yes. All right, guys. Have a good one. Be blessed. Enjoy your day. Go out there. Do me a favor, please. Be intentional with your time. Don't think that you don't deserve a trip to Dominican Republic. Don't think that it's impossible for you. This is a very doable goal if every single day you make an attempt to chip away at that block. Chip away, chip away, chip away, chip away. And before you know it, we'll be, toasting to, with each other with a cigar and some margaritas and enjoying the DR life. Have a good one. Be blessed.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks so much.